Give yourself a couple moments just to settle in and settle down. Maybe might feel good today just to start with a nice deep full breath in. Let yourself fill. And as you release your breath, let go. Let go of tension in the mind, tension in the body. Feel yourself settle in a little bit more. And if you want to do that again, do that again. You can even sigh a breath out if that helps you to release and let go and drop in. And then breath all through the nose if possible, in and out, smooth and long. And simply the act of making the breath longer and smoother and fuller begins to relax your whole nervous system. It's one of the most healing things that we can do for our bodies and minds, is just to take the breath into a longer, fuller, smoother pattern. So see if you can establish that here and now, your breath pattern for your practice, so that you don't veer away from it. Right? Let that be your foundation, so that any shapes you find yourself in, you don't lose that type of breath. In other words, you're not going to do too much or struggle or strain so much that the breath can't remain smooth and full. So keeping that breathing pattern, you can stretch your arms overhead. Maybe take a little wriggle side to side, point and flex each foot. Enjoy that length for your spine, each side of your waist. And then on your next exhale, pull the belly button toward the earth. Feel the core muscles wake up a little bit, and go ahead and bend your two knees. Take the feet onto the floor for a moment just to scooch your hips a little bit toward your heels. And then go ahead and draw your right knee into your chest, taking the hands to the shin. And then lift the right foot up to the sky or ceiling. And notice how that right hamstring feels. Let your shoulders snuggle down a little bit. Roll the foot around if you like. And just play with how straight you want to make that leg. And notice that you probably already stopped those deep breaths. So reestablish that. And then we'll bend and straighten this leg just a few times. So on your exhale, you'll bend it. Pull the knee toward you. And then inhale, straighten the leg. Lift the heel. Maybe a couple more. Exhale to bend. And inhale to straighten. Maybe it straightens a little more each time. Maybe not. Exhale to bend. And inhale, let it go straight up. Heel lifts, toes flex down. Let's support the right leg with the right hand and let the right leg drift out to the right. Keeping it straight-ish. It doesn't have to be all the way straight. You can let the bent left knee drift out to the left if that's nice. And then see if you can just reach that right inner heel away from the inner hip. So maybe the left arm goes to the left for a little counterbalance. And just notice how that inner thigh feels there. On an exhale, belly hugs in to take the foot all the way back up. If you do it slowly and mindfully, you'll feel those low belly muscles engage. Good. And then bend the knee back into the chest. And take the foot back onto the floor. Knees bend, feet on the floor. Good. Left knee hugs in. Give it a little squeeze. Yep. Left foot lifts up. Notice you haven't lost your breath. Roll the foot around at the ankle if you like. Snuggle the shoulders down, back of the neck long. Breathe. And then we'll bend and straighten it 3 times. So exhale to bend it. Inhale, lift the heel. Exhale as you bend it. Inhale, maybe it goes a tiny bit straighter, maybe not. Exhale as you bend. And inhale, lengthen out that leg. And then we'll support the leg with the left hand, right? And let that straight or straight-ish leg drift out to the left. Let the bent right knee drift to the right, if it feels good. Notice your breath, notice the sensations. If you want to roll the foot around or just flex the foot and reach the inner heel away from the inner hip there, or inner groin. And then on an exhale, belly hugs in to take the foot slowly back up, and the right knee comes back to center. So you might already feel those low belly muscles. Yep, and then knee bends into the chest, and foot comes back onto the floor. And then let's take the feet out wide, knees together, arms out wide, straight or bent elbows, and we'll windshield wipe the knees, right? So both knees over to the left to start. Turn the nose to the right and take a breath or two there. Let the shape settle. Let the exhales help the shape to soften. And when you're ready to come back up to center, belly hugs in to lift the knees. And knees can go over to the other side when you're ready. Turn the nose opposite to the knees if that feels okay with your neck. If not, then don't. And give your body a chance to settle into the shape with some long exhales. And so sometimes when it's a strange shape, there's some resistance, and then with the long exhale, there's a release. So when you're ready to come back to center, belly hugs in to take the knees up. And let's just bring the feet together now. Let the knees drop apart just for a moment, just for maybe 2 breaths. Maybe the elbows are bent and the arms are out. The knees are out and bent. There's like an opening here, a freedom here for you just to receive the breath and receive this moment. And when you're ready to come back up, belly hugs in, always to bring the knees up, right? So it's the core helping to lift the knees. And then bring both knees into the chest when you're ready and start your little rock side to side or forward to back. And taking your time to come all the way up to hands and knees. No worries, even out. It becomes sort of trance-like, doesn't it? Your own breath, just being present, everything else disappears. You get into this yoga trance, this yoga high. All right, hands and knees. Couple cat-cows. And take a little time here, not too much, just to swivel or swirl or spiral, loosen things up. Neck, shoulders, hips. Anything that feels good, right? Keep your breath flowing. Maybe all the way back to a child's pose. Whatever you need. Good. And then when you're ready, come to a flat back. Bring the knees together. Bring the knees together. And then take the left toes to the back of your mat so that left leg is long and you might feel like a little opening behind the knee. The calf muscle, you can rock the heel forward and back if that's nice. Yep. And then we'll pivot the left foot down. Spin the foot flat. Lift the left hand up. Now this bottom leg, the right knee that's on the floor, you can kick the right foot back if that helps create sort of like a kickstand. In other words, the right toes don't have to point to the left heel, right? That foot can come out to the right. Left hand reaches up. Bottom right shoulder slides down the back a little bit and back foot really hugs the floor. How strong can you make this back leg, right? So it's not lazy, but it's really active. And then we'll circle around this left arm and take the circles back, down, forward, and up, kind of slowly, kind of mindfully, so that you can turn your head maybe away from the hand, or maybe you're looking at the hand. So you loosen up all those muscles from the left side of the neck to the shoulder, that whole connection. And then when you're ready, let the left hand lift up really high. Spread the fingers and see if you can float the left foot up off the floor. Just hip height. Then when you're ready to pull your belly button in, flex the left foot. And see if you can take the left foot forward so that you can see it. And let the left arm float backward. And be aware of this bottom shoulder down the back. And just take a breath there. So you're waking up that outer left leg a bit. Good. And then left leg comes back and left hand comes to the floor. And then just go ahead and put your left knee down next to your right knee. And let's do it all on the other side. We'll get off that right wrist. Right toes to the back of your mat. Maybe rock the heel back and forth. Open into the back of the knee there so the thigh bone's lifting. And then when you're ready, pivot that foot down, foot flat, right hand floats up. Bottom shoulder slides down the back. And this bottom foot, the left foot now, you can kick it back. It's going to help with your balance. Yeah. Hug the back foot against the floor. Spread through the right fingers. Pull the belly button in. Breathe. And then go ahead and take some circles with this back arm or with this lifted arm. Back, down, forward, and up. And really reach. Right? Really reach the hand away from the ear and turn the head any way that feels soothing and healing. Bottom shoulder sliding down. Right? Take your time. So you're not forcing or jamming or being lazy, but just really getting to know your needs there in the right side of the neck. Right hand lifts back up, fingers spread. Reach, reach, reach. Hug the belly in and float the back foot off the floor. Just float it. Feel that little balance. Keep your breath flowing, bottom shoulder down the back. And then see if you can take that right foot forward so that you can see it. Right foot forward in line with your hip. Just hovering hip height. Maybe right arm floats back a little bit more. Keep breathing. Good. Take the right foot back. Inhale. Take the right hand down. Exhale. Good. Both knees back on the mat. Come onto your fingertips. Let's get you off those wrists for a moment. And cat-cow on your wrists. On your fingertips. Heart comes forward as you inhale. Back rounds as you exhale. And this is a nice wrist strengthener too. All right. And let's plant the hands now. Let's curl the toes under. We're just going to make our way right to downward dog. So do so mindfully. Knees hover. And then knees draw back. Hips lift up. Hands pressing into the earth. You can pedal out your knees here. You can wiggle around your hips or head. See if you can get a little light in the heels of the hands and those wrists, right? Bring more juice into the knuckles and fingertips. Notice your breath. Is it flowing smoothly? Is there some place in your body that you can soften that you don't need to be straining right now? Maybe the forehead. Maybe the mouth. Maybe your mind. Let's lift the heels and bend the knees, and we'll look to the hands, and on an exhale, we'll just walk on up. Mosey on up. Heart lifts as you inhale, flatten out the back, lengthen out your spine. Good. Fold into your exhale, drop your head, bend your two knees enough that your whole torso can just drip forward. Like your head is a big glob of honey there. Hanging, tractioning your spine. You can sway a little bit. You can use blocks under your hands if that's more supportive. All right, we're going to bend the knees, pull the heart forward, and float your arms back. So I want you to come into this flat back with a little bit of a bend in your knees so your spine can really elongate. Bend your knees, bend your knees, bend your knees, lengthen your spine. Hands reach back, palms face the floor, thumbs out. Good. And then press into the feet. And on an inhale, we're going to rise. So straighten your legs, sweep the arms forward and up. Take a big stretch. Hands to the heart, exhale. Okay, take a moment to settle, right? I can hear your birds already, Mark, even though, I don't know, I hear real birds. I don't know if it's you or real birds outside. Shoulders settle. Belly in. Take your hands to your heart. Prayer pose. Say a little prayer for yourself. Right? Say a little intention for yourself. What would you like to get out of this morning's practice? What would you like to carry from it into your day? Is there anything you want a little more of? Balance or patience or acceptance or strength or health? Release. Whatever it is perfect. And then on your next inhale, just reach up, take a little stretch. And we'll fold forward on the exhale, drop your head. Bending your knees as much as you need to. Lift your heart. Take an inhale to lengthen out your spine. Really pull the ribs away from your hips evenly. Yeah. And then hands to the floor. We're going to step back to plank. Holding the plank pose, you can take your knees down if you need to. It's no problem. But reach the heels and head in opposite directions. See if both sides of the waist can stay long and the belly can pull away from the floor. Yeah, keep your breath flowing here. And then let your knees come down right where they are. We're going to lower safely. So as you lower, you're going to gaze slightly forward and see if your chest can touch down before your hips. And then let your hips settle. Point your toes, lift your heart. Gentle cobra pose. So think of it as a baby cobra. You're not having to come up high. Roll down on your exhale. We'll do it again. Inhale to a baby cobra. Root into the hands. Good. Exhale, release down. And then we'll curl the toes under. We'll press to hands and knees. So see if you can lift your hips and heart at the same time. Hands and knees, hands and knees. Press up to hands and knees. Ooh, hands and knees. And then downward facing dog. Even though it's not a full push-up, those are still not so easy. So imagine you could press the hands and feet away from one another and the hips lift up away from both the hands and the feet, right? So there's length through the legs, there's length through the torso, length through the arms. And then match that physical length with a long breath. Lift your two heels, bend your two knees, look to the hands as you inhale. And again, walk up there through your exhale. Okay, flatten the back. Inhale, elongate the spine. Ribs pull away from hips. Fold forward as you exhale. And this time in your forward fold, you're just going to bend the right knee and take a big step back with your left foot. So you're in a low lunge here. Big step back with your left foot. Stay on the back toes. Yeah. And then go ahead and drop the back knee to the floor. Good. Pull the belly button in and lift your arms up. If you want to take both hands to the top thigh to prop you up, that's fine. But if you can just lift up, lift up. Now, if you need to wiggle your right foot over to the right so you widen your base here for more balance, do that. Good. As you lift your hands, lift your back ribs. Can you feel what's going on in your torso? Right? So the ribs are lifting away from the hips evenly, not just the front side, right? And feel that length. Feel the breath. Hug the belly in. Good. And then take the arms into this cactus shape and let your shoulders get a little heavy. Fingers are facing the ceiling, palms forward. Imagine the shoulder blades coming together behind the back. And just let your heart open. Take a nice deep breath into it. You can tilt back if it feels good. And hands back to the floor. Exhale. Good. Lift your back knee. Lean into your left fingers or hand and lift your right hand up so you're in a twist. Other way. Left hand down, Mark. Right hand up. Twist. Yeah. And then hug that right hip back. Imagine you could pull the front right foot back toward the back foot. You're not going to, but it's going to engage things a bit. Good. Take a breath here. Yep. And then release your right hand. Look forward. Release your right hand to the floor. Look forward and step forward. Okay, lift your heart. Inhale, lengthen out that spine. Fold, forward, exhale, drop your head, bend your two knees. Left knee bends a lot more. Right foot steps all the way back. Big step back. Low lunge. Yep. Drop the right knee down, back there at that diagonal. Pull the belly in to float the arms up. If you want to wiggle that left foot over for more balance, do it. Go ahead. So as you lift your fingers, feel for lifting the ribs away from the hips nice and evenly. So you're making all the space in your torso for your organs, for your breath. You know, gravity compresses us, so it's just nice to create that space. And then go ahead and take the arms into that cactus shape, right? Elbows back, palms forward. Let your heart open, let your shoulders drop. How does it feel to have an open heart? Physically, energetically, emotionally. You can tilt back if that's nice. Take a breath. And hands come back to the floor on your exhale. Good. You're going to lean into the right hand or fingers, lift the back right knee, and lift the left hand up. You're in a twist. Good job. And then it's really easy just to get lazy here, right? But that front left foot, hug it back toward the right toes, as if you want to bunch up the mat with your 2 feet, and just feel how that helps hug the left hip back. Take a breath and release your left hand down. Good. Look forward and step forward. Okay, flat back, inhale. And fold forward, exhale. We're going to step back to plank pose. Take a breath in your plank. When you get there, lower safely on your exhale, knees and then chest. See if the hips can land last. So it's almost like nosedive. It's not so easy. Roll up to your cobra, inhale. And right back to your down dog, exhale. You can do it through bent knees. Yeah, all good. So imagine the hands and feet are pulling the mat apart, right? The thigh bones draw back, the neck is soft, the breath is flowing. Then we're going to drop the knees to the floor and take a child's pose momentarily. Hips back toward the heels, forehead resting. Let your belly soften. Let your face muscles soften. Let your shoulder muscles soften. And feel that long, smooth breath soothing you. And then keeping your hips back toward your heels, can you crawl your fingertips forward? And fingertip by fingertip. And find that length through your arms, through the sides of your waist, from pinky finger to hip crease. Elbows can lift off the floor here. And then lift your head off the floor and come up to hands and knees. Good. And then I want you to take your fingertips to the front of your yoga mat. Fingertips to the front of the yoga mat and elbows on the floor. Parallel your forearms. And then we're going to lift one knee at a time, taking the toes to the back of the mat for forearm plank. Rach, let's make sure this is okay on your neck. Forearm plank. So take your elbows right under your shoulders if you can. Notice if this is feeling taxing at all on your neck or your low back. And if so, let your knees come to the floor for support. Good. Belly pulls away from the floor. Sides of the waist hug in. Remember that corseting action? Can the neck be nice and free? If the knees are down, play with lifting one at a time. We'll just do about 3 breaths here. Lengthen that head away from the heels. Good. Face comes away from the floor. Your head's not drooping. Nice. Let your knees come down if you have them lifted now. And then let your hips come down as well. Let your hips settle down. And then point your toes back. And just take a look at your elbows. Make sure they're right beneath your shoulders, not farther back. Good. And then with your hands on the floor, your forearms on the floor, imagine you could pull your ribs away from your hips. And then let your shoulders soften down away from your ears. And then turn to look over your right shoulder. And just feel how that feels. And then turn to look over your left shoulder and feel how that feels. Good, and then turn the gaze just to the front of your mat, maybe off the front edge of your mat. You can roll the head around a little more if it's nice, maybe even ear to one shoulder and ear to the other shoulder. It's actually a bit of a neck loosener here. Good. And then we'll curl the toes back under. I want you to lift the belly button away from the floor first. And then lift the hips away from the floor. You can keep the knees down right there if you need to. No worries. Otherwise, one knee at a time lifts and you're back to forearm plank. Imagine you could hug the elbows towards each other. Wake up the chest. Wake up the thighs. Corset the waist. Lift the face away from the floor. Good. Take an inhale. And then lift your hips. Walk your toes just inch by inch a little closer to your elbows. Let your head hang. Let your hips lift. And go ahead and pedal out your knees. Sway the hips side to side. Bend one knee at a time. Wiggle the head around. Loosen things up. Good. And then let your knees come to the floor and just pause. Knees right underneath your hips. Good. Go ahead and lift your elbows off the floor. So hips are over knees. Did I say knees over hips? Hips over knees, elbows lift off the floor. We're going to get a little shoulder stretch here. So we're going to thread the needle with the arms. Reach your right arm underneath that left arm. So you're going to lay on the back of your right hand, the back of the right arm, and the right temple or right ear. I want you just to slide the right shoulder down away from the ear as much as possible and see if you can lay on the back of that shoulder. So you can move the left hand to somewhere that feels more supportive. It's fine. I want you to feel how much space and softness you can create in the right side of your neck. So sometimes there's resistance when we make it into a shape that's a little awkward. So see if you can lengthen the breath so that the exhales help you soften into that shape. That left hand on the floor is going to keep some support for you. And wherever your left hand is, you'll press into it to come back up. You'll reach your right hand forward. And we'll do the other side. So time to switch sides. Left arm is going to thread under. You're going to lay on the back of the hand, back of the arm. Scooch that shoulder down, down, down away from the ear as much as possible so the whole left side of the neck is long. You can move that right hand somewhere that feels more supportive and see how it feels. Notice, is there resistance here? And can you use the exhales to soften and let go? Like trust that right hand support, trust yourself, your body. What are you holding on to in that neck? What are you resisting? Often our neck signifies flexibility. You don't have to have an answer, just ask the question. And see what you can let go of just right here. And then we'll press into that right hand to come back up. Back to hands and knees. Good, I'll tranced out again. All right, from hands and knees, we're gonna curl the toes under and make your way to downward dog. Downward dog. Feel free to wiggle anything, shift around. Notice if it feels a little different in your shoulders. Maybe it does, maybe it doesn't. And then we'll lift the heels, we'll bend the knees and look to the hands as we inhale, hips pull back. Walking forward on the exhale, no rush. Lift the heart, inhale, flat back. Fold forward, exhale, melt in. And then with bent knees and a flat back, let's rise up, reach up. Big inhale lifts you. Hands to the heart, exhale. Okay. Let your shoulders drop. Let your belly hug in. Let's take the hands next to the thighs. And then let's lift, I'll mirror you guys. Let's lift the right hand up. And notice the palm faces left. Support your left leg with your left hand and reach the right hand a little higher away from the right foot. So you're going to start a little lean. And then go ahead and lean over to your degree. Now pull your belly button in so you support your low back and keep pressing that right foot against the floor just as much as the left foot. And then let this left shoulder relax. You can turn the gaze down over the shoulder or straight forward. See how it feels on your neck. Breathe. And then hand comes back up on an inhale, straightening up. And hand comes down as you exhale. Okay. Left hand lifts up. Good. Support yourself with this right hand against your thigh, right? Start to reach the left hand a little higher away from the left foot. Feel that opposite shoulder soften. And then you're going to lean over just to your degree. It doesn't have to be as far as you can. You're going to hug the belly button back. You're going to keep just as much pressure in that left foot as the right foot. You can turn the gaze down, forward, whatever feels right with your neck. And this right hand is giving you just a little support. Notice your 2 feet pressing evenly. Notice your breath flowing evenly. And then hand lifts back up on an inhale, straighten up, and release it. Good. Heel toe your feet apart just enough that you can take your hands behind your back. You can hook thumbs or interlace fingers. We're going to take a little baby back bend here, so bend your elbows, lift your heart, take an inhale as you gaze up, and bend and shift forward, fold forward, exhale, drop your head. So bend the knees to help the spine lengthen and then let the head fall. So this is like what we do wide-legged, right? And you can lift your hands, you can let them rest on your back, you can let the shoulders drop to the ears, you can pull the shoulders away from the ears. You can roll the shoulders in a circle, or circle the head around. What do you need? Good job. Let's release the hands to the floor. Bend your right knee and take a big step back with your left foot. Good, and then we're going to pivot that left foot flat. We're going to climb the right elbow onto the right thigh and lift the left hand up. Good job. And then take a look at your right knee, right? Always right over the heel. It wants to slide back or in, so it's forward and out. And you can use your right arm to kind of help it, to help guide it. And the left hand lifts. That right hip hugs back and underneath you. And then we'll circle around this left arm. You can circle your head. Yep. And then when you're ready, your left hand is going to reach back to lift you up for second warrior. Warrior 2. Virabhadrasana 2. Good. Check out your front knee. Can you bend it a little deeper? Can you track it outward a bit? So the inner right thigh rolls up. Spread out your hands, spread out your fingers. Look at your front middle finger. And as the feet press away from one another, hug the hips towards one another. So you're going to wake up that back leg a little more. And then you drop your left hand back. Give it a little support against your left leg. Right palm spins up, and let's reverse the warrior. Reach up and back. Drop the back shoulder. Bend the right knee a little more. Feel the right ribs freeing up. Good. And then straighten your right leg. Straighten that front leg and reach the hand away from the heel. Good. And then we're going to come back to the second warrior, but with that front leg now straight. And now pivot your right toes in. Let's get another little neck release because it'll help. Hands behind you, elbows bend. Now we'll do a wide-legged fold, so heart lifts as you inhale, knuckles pulled down. And we'll fold forward on the exhale over straight legs, straight wide legs. Roll the head around, loosen up the neck, do whatever you need here. And can you let the exhales maybe linger a little bit so you can just soften and let go of something? And then let your hands fall to the floor. And just start to Bend your front right knee. Just the front knee, the right knee, bend it. And let that inner left thigh, the back leg, get a nice little stretch. Yeah. And then we'll shift the hands to the front of the mat, pivot the front toes forward, and drop the back knee. Release the back toes if you like. Good. Lean into the left hand, take your right hand to the right thigh, and just roll the right ribs back. Let that left hip settle down. So you're turning to the right. Other way, Mark. There you go. Left hand is on the floor. Right hand is on the right thigh. And you're just rolling the right ribs back. Right hand on right thigh. So I want that back left hip to dip. Should feel good. All right, now look to the floor. Take your right hand outside the right leg and shift your hips back, straightening that right leg. Lift the toes. Hug the hip back, back, back as the heart comes forward. It's okay if the knee's bent. Mine's quite bent today. And just let yourself round in. Let your heavy head go. Feel, if you can, that nice little energy, that nice little stretch from the right heel to the right side of the neck. Is the breath flowing? Is there something you can let go of and release and soften into here? All right, let's start to bend the front leg. Hands on the floor, back toes curl under. We're going to lift the back knee and we're going to take a big step forward on an exhale. You're going to launch that foot forward. Good. Heart lifts. Inhale. Lengthen your spine. Pull the ribs away from the hips. Fold forward. Exhale. Drop your head. Hang out. And then a big step back with your right foot. Really big step. Pivot that heel flat. Climb your left elbow onto your left leg, left thigh, and lift your right hand up. Okay, bottom left shoulder down the back. Check out your left knee. Is it tracking back? Is it tracking in? Can you stack it right over that heel? Like, let's always keep our knees safe, right? And that left hip, that's the bent hip, it hugs underneath the body toward the back foot. Good. You can use the left arm against the left leg to kind of press it outward a bit, press it forward a bit. Right hand reaches up, and then we'll circle it around. As you circle around this lifted arm, feel free to circle around the head. Feel free to pause somewhere. Keep the breath flowing. Be so mindful. Right? This is you taking care of your body, waking up some sleepy places, opening up some blockages. Reaching that right hand back when you're ready. Exhale to lift yourself up. Beautiful. Keep that front knee bent. Spread through your fingers. So imagine you're reaching your hands away from one another. Imagine you're pressing your feet away from one another, right? But then you're hugging your hips towards one another. So just feeling all that different work that takes place when you're engaging certain muscles. And then we'll drop the right hand back to the thigh. We'll spin the left palm up to the sky. I love when it rhymes. And reach up and back. And keep that bend in the front knee. And just feeling that space you're creating in the whole left rib cage. Bend, reach, enjoy. And then we're going to straighten the front leg as we reach the left hand back. Right? And there's just another different sensation that happens here. When you straighten, you're in the reverse warrior with the bent knee, and then you straighten the knee, and it changes the shape a little bit. Good. And then we'll take the left hand forward. Arms spread. We'll pivot those front toes in. Pigeon toe your feet. Drop your hands behind you. So do something a little different. Maybe different interlace. Maybe you hook the thumbs this time. Maybe you keep the wrists together. Whatever you need. Heart lifts on your inhale and fold forward as you exhale. Maybe you let the hands spread apart. Maybe you try something completely different. Maybe circling the shoulders or the head. Let your hands come to the floor. And then we'll bend the front knee. And as you bend that front knee, just enjoy the little opening on the inner right thigh. Feel that for just a breath. Yep. And then we'll pivot the hands to the front of the mat, left toes forward, back heel lifts, and we'll release the back knee down, back there at that angle. Okay, pause. Release your back toes. Lean into your right fingers or hand. Left hand comes on top of the left thigh. And we're going to roll the left ribs back. We can look back over the left shoulder or down to the floor, whatever feels nice. But I want you to let that top of that right hip just dip. And feel your breath. Do whatever's comfortable with your neck here. Good. And then you'll look down to the front of your mat. You'll release the left hand and you'll shift the left hip back and play with how straight you want that left leg to be as you fold over it. And there's that line of energy, right, from the heel to the left side of the neck. That you're just waking up, opening up, breathing into. If you want any movement, take some movement. If there's something that feels like really stuck or holding, can you try to identify it and let it go? Okay, let's gently bend the front leg now. Back toes curl, back knee lifts, and a big launch forward on an exhale. Heart lifts as you inhale, flat back, long spine. Fold forward, exhale, hands to the mat, plank pose. Last plank pose. Press the floor, pull the belly in, engage the corset muscles, so sides of the waist hug in as well. Gaze slightly forward and lower knees first and then chest. Elbows graze the ribs, knees and then chest. It's not so easy. Cobra, nice and easy. Baby cobra, inhale. Downward dog, exhale. Last down dog. Press the hands and feet apart. Drop your heavy head. Feel your breath. Feel the strength in your arms, in your legs, in your mind. When you're ready, let your knees come to the floor. Crawl them forward so you can roll onto your back and hug your knees to your chest. That was a big sigh. Rock a little side to side if it's nice. Loosen up your low back. Let your head rock side to side. Loosen up your neck. Maybe roll your feet around. Loosen up your ankles. Mine just went crack pop. All right. Take your feet onto the floor. And then let's just press the feet down and lift the hips up. Bridge pose. Press the feet down, lift the hips up. Opening the front side of the body a bit, relaxing the throat. Your arms can just fall open by your sides, palms up. Feel your breath, feel the softness of your face. When you're ready, roll yourself back down. Let your low back settle. And let's get a little thread the needle. Right ankle bone is going to cross over that left leg. Yeah. Maybe you just take your right hand and coax the right leg, the right knee forward. Maybe that's enough of a sensation in your outer right hip. Maybe the left foot lifts off the floor, or maybe you hug the left leg toward you. Shoulders away from the ears. You can rock your head side to side. You can rock your jaw side to side. And take a nice full breath in and let the exhale help you soften. And then go ahead and let go of that leg, uncross and recross to the other side. When the left ankle crosses, maybe the left hand just coaxes that left knee forward. Give it a little press. Maybe the right foot lifts off the floor. Maybe you hug the right leg toward you. Again, you can rock the head or the jaw or even the hips a little. Can you bring your awareness to whatever sensation you're feeling so that your mind doesn't take you elsewhere? And a nice full breath in. Let yourself soften into the exhale. Let the exhale help soothe you into the shape. And then let go of the right leg. Uncross your left ankle. Good. Bring the soles of the feet together. Let the knees drop open. Yeah. Feel how that feels. If you want to rock your head side to side, rock your head to side, side to side. Take a hand onto your chest, a hand onto your belly so that you connect to the breath a little bit more easily by feeling the expansion of the belly and even the chest or ribs as you inhale, and feel them soften back as you exhale. The bottom of your next exhale, belly pulls to the spine to bring the knees together. Good. When the knees come together, hug your right knee into the chest. Extend your left leg out long on the floor. Yep. Hold the right shin with the left hand and open the right arm out to the right. We're going to take a twist on the exhale. Guide that right knee all the way over to the left. Let the foot rest on something so it's not hanging, so you're not hanging on the hip. So if the foot doesn't touch the floor, maybe you can rest the foot on the inner left leg or a block. Let your right shoulder get heavy. Your right knee get heavy. You can turn the head whichever way you like and take a couple deep breaths. Softening as you exhale, letting go as you exhale. And when you're ready to come back up, the belly hugs in, the right knee comes up and in to come back up onto your back to center. Yep. Both knees in for a beat. And then left knee stays in. And right leg goes out long and heavy. Left arm out to the left. On your exhale, make your twist. Guide your left knee over. Let the foot land on something. Maybe the inner right thigh, maybe the floor. Left arm heavy. Turn your head whichever way feels best for your neck, please. Notice what happens on the exhales. You almost get a little denser, a little heavier. You can almost sink into the earth a little bit more sweetly. Is there any resistance you can let go of? When you're ready to come back to center, the belly hugs in. The left knee comes up and in first. Yep. And then both knees into the chest. Good. And let's start to make our way into Savasana. Unless there's anything else that you feel your body needs here, you can take about 30 seconds to do it. Otherwise, a little hug and a squeeze, and Savasana time. Open up, lie back, relax. Take any movement you need. You can wiggle your feet or your wrists or your head or even your jaw. And give yourself a little time here just to settle back in and settle back down and relax. This is the most important pose of the practice. It's really what all the other poses are designed to get you to, this place of a little more freedom in your body and mind, so that you can settle in without blockages, without resistance, and just open up to receiving all of the goodness this moment provides. Simply relax, rest, and receive. So to respect your time, it's 10 o'clock. If you need to start to move and make your way into your day, then feel free to do that. If you feel like you could take another minute or two just to rest here, you can do that. Whenever you choose to bring some movement back into your body, do so slowly and sensitively. And as always, we take a little time at the end of practice just to really be grateful for what we receive from our practice, for showing up to practice, and for all the goodness in our lives, the ability to take fresh breath, and anything that makes you feel grateful. Such a great quality to embody. Right, so with gratitude in mind, when you're ready, take in a full breath. Let it fill you. And let anything else go. And just let it soak in for a moment so that you can carry it into your day. Namaste.